It's a Compound Coalition video. What is this? A vlog? What is this? What do we call these? This is my friend Dean, and we've known each other from the internet for years. And Dean has a lot of stories. I don't even know what we're going to talk about here. I'm always surprised myself anytime I talk to him. I always learn something. And it never ceases to amaze me at just the insane amount of things that he knows. So we can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Dude, it's your show, you know.
I don't even have a show. We'll just talk, man.
You're the man.
All right, what are you doing in Camden, Tennessee? Where are you from?
I am from a small town in northeast Texas, about 40 miles south of Texarkana.
Less than 3,000 people?
Oh, yeah.
How many?
We have a post office.
We almost didn't have a post office here a few years ago. They were trying to close it.
Our post office is about as big as this.
So what do you do? Like, what's your job description?
Job description, well, technically I'm medically retired.
Okay.
And I do surveying and the artwork, you know, and then consult people on, you know, survival stuff. They're tripping out because of everything going on, and they want, you know, perimeter security. They just want basic stuff that, you know, people like us that grow up in the country, or we take as just everyday life. You know, growing a garden, doing your thing, skinning deer, pigs, goats, chickens, eggs, all that, you know. And most of them are people that have came into our area because they're coming from a really bad area, you know, that come out of Her My People. People are getting out of those big cities, and I'm glad to see that.
You said come out of Her My People. Where did you pick that up at?
That's in the Bible.
Yeah.
It says, come out of Her My People. Unless
I'm aware.
Okay.
Usually, as of late, when I've heard somebody say that, their friends are interacting with Bear.
Oh, independent. Yeah, Bear.
Yeah,
Independent.
or Pastor Joe. Yeah.
Yeah, PJ.
So that's why I asked that. Yeah.
Yeah. We've said that for a long time, but, you know, then whenever found Pastor Joe, started looking at his stuff, and I found him on YouTube, and then I went to Patreon and listened to him. He was a very smart man, you know. And then I found, you know, Bear off of him, and he does kind of the same thing that I do with the IFACs. Bear does it on a lot grander scale, and, you know, he charges. I try to do something to make money, and then I give them to officers that they don't have the money, you know, because there's a lot in the small towns, they don't have the budget for it. And so we do fundraisers and 5K run. My son that recently passed away, he did a lot of those where he would get the money, and then we'd get the kits and give them to the police officers. There was a small town there. They probably got about 15 officers, you know. And I went up there one day, and, you know, because of what happened to me, you know, I always check. If they got a vest on, good. If they don't, I rip them up. And I noticed they were carrying the tourniquet pouches on there with no tourniquets in it. And I'm like,
oh,
hey,
shit.
Man. Yeah. So I went to the chief, and I was like, what's the deal, man? And he goes, man, yeah. You know, he goes, yeah, I know, we need it. He said, but what's happened is the budget, we've had to negate that so that we can buy Narcan.
Yeah, horseshit.
So they could help a junkie. You know, I don't want anybody to die. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, but that's something that the person is willingly going in and doing themselves. Officer responding, or anybody, you know, maybe your kid or something has had a wreck and pushed a handlebar through his chest, you know, or whatever, or tore his arm off, you know.
Especially farm accidents.
Yes,
stuff, yeah.
Very much so in our county.
So
we did that.
What brought you here today?
I wanted to come up here, and, you know, we've been, going back and forth about 5 years. This is the third time I've tried to come up here.
It's been more than 5, because I was talking to you when I was in my other building, and we've been on this property 7.
Okay, so yeah, it's been a long time. My time frame was kind of weird because of all things that happened.
Well, I'm glad you're here. It was awesome to meet you face to face finally. I feel like I know you.
Yeah, that's
like we can
really
have
weird.
A lot of conversations as though we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah, it's kind of trip. I was telling your wife in there how, you know, social media, I was kind of like, yeah, this is a weird little thing here. And then, you know, what happened with you popped up.
When?
It was when it was the first, before I ever talked to you, a video came up.
Yeah.
At the right time. because I was tired. I was tired of it, man.
Got it. And now you don't look so tired.
Don't look so tired. I can ruck. I can do my own thing. I was 320 pounds, and I weigh 208 now. So it just over time and time, all the injuries and stuff, 39 surgeries, and it was getting to a point, and I was laying on the bed, and I said, God, you got to heal me or kill me, because I can't do this no more. And I was going to take it in my own hands, but then you popped up.
So
you were very I'm sorry.
No, man. I kind of sprang this on you. I didn't warn
It's
you.
okay. It's okay. Well, it was a very bad time, and you popped up on I guess one of my friends had commented or something, and you popped up, and there was this
asshole.
Yeah, the skinhead guy with weird beard or whatever, and was like, quit being a pussy. You quit feeling sorry for yourself. Get up. You change you make your own environment. You change yourself and do what it takes. And then that just started it. And then Ben Mookie, he had posted something about somebody that had took their life. And I said something to the effect of, I know what it feels like to be there. Because, people get in pain, and a lot of people don't understand pain. Like, you may hurt your arm and it goes away. You may get burned and it goes away. But when you have nerve damage and all the stuff that goes on, it never takes a break. It doesn't go on vacation. It doesn't take a weekend. Sleep, you can't sleep. And then sleep deprivation is a very powerful thing. It causes you to lose your ability to rationally think, and you're not making clear decisions. And you need a support system around you. And it got to a bad place, man. It really did. And you came up, and I appreciate it. I tell people that God sent you through an app to a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere at the right time. And then Ben Mookie, at that time, it was all those happened right there together. And I don't know Ben from Adam. I do not know that man. And this man reached out from Florida. And he said, call me right now. And I was like, well, what can it hurt?
Right.
You're not going to be here long anyway. So I called Ben, and he talked to me, and I told him what was going on. He said, I understand, man. Because pain, something to deal with, chronic pain is and everybody out there, if you're dealing with a chronic situation, chronic pain, I just tell them, hang on, and that God is powerful. And before you do something like that, and decide to, take that step or do something drastic to yourself, think of the loved ones that are around you that need you. Because it's now that I look back, that was selfish of me. That was selfish of me to think that way. Because I had, wife and kids and stuff, and I literally got to feeling like I was a burden, and that they would be better off without me. And it's not true. It's a lie. The devil's lying to you is what he's doing. Because I know a God that can do it. Send somebody from Tennessee through a phone, through an app, into a farmhouse, and there it is. If you need somebody, send me somebody right now, and bam, there's this weird guy, bald head and weird beard, and just tells me what I need to hear.
How fast did it change once you made the decision? What happened?
It took a little bit, but then that was the spark that took the blinders off, so to speak, and was like, still there. You're still here. He's still in charge. He's still on the throne. All things are possible through him. Why are you not listening to him, and why are you listening to these negative things that are all around you? And so it just gradually began to go up, and I started walking again and moving and stuff, and then there was another injury and got infected, and it started and it went back down, and it was just been this constant battle for 23 years, man. And I'm talking about, you talk about a fight, like I was listening to the dog guy, and he's like, the dogs can go about 2.5 minutes in full blast, and if you've ever fought, a boxing ring or MMA or anything go 2 minutes full out, you are just exhausted. So imagine 23 years. It's been one of the longest battles I've ever been in. It really has. And I'm thankful for, people like you. I call them God operators. God sends an operator, to help me out of a jam. And Ben Mookie, if you're listening, I love you. And I don't even know you, bro.
So, you're an amazing artist. You have a fucking, just a skill, this talent that's absolutely insane. And you and I talked for about an hour in the kitchen yesterday, and some of it was pieces of this conversation. I didn't know almost anything that you told me last night. Like, I didn't know almost any of that shit. Like, I knew the incident and a few pieces, but I didn't know most of that shit you told me. And you were not an artist prior to that. You didn't have that talent.
No, I had it.
You lost it.
I lost
Could not physically use your hands.
Did not work at all.
And had to relearn how to use your hands all over again.
In a totally different way and technique. Not the same way with articulation of the fingers and stuff. That's not there anymore. I had to learn how to redraw.
And how long have you been drawing now?
Since, like, from the beginning or
since you relearned?
Since I relearned. It started coming back in about 2012. And it looked kind of like a third grader. And then by 2016, I was able to make do portraits again. And then about 18, 19, it started really getting back in there good. And I have to draw in different ways now. Like with a paintbrush, I have to twirl the brush in my fingers when I'm doing lines and stuff instead of, articulate with, this is my drawing hand. And I can draw with the left hand, but it's not as good as this hand. So I would say since 18, it's really started to go good. And my son started me a Facebook thing. It's called Artwork by Dino. And the Dino came from, my mother called me that, and she loved Dean Martin. And so I got stuck with Dino. And that's what I signed all my pictures that I drew from age of 5, till now. So I just stayed with that. Change it.
How many pieces of your artwork are actually out with the customers now on?
Oh, I have no idea. A couple hundred, maybe.
Wow.
Something like that.
And you send me pictures all the time, and I'm like, where the fuck did this come from? They're like schematics and fish traps and energy generation. And I'm like, this looks like some fucking Da Vinci kind of shit. And we were talking last night. I said, where is all this stuff? And you're like, well, it's in my books. It's in my journals. And I'm like, man, you need to take all that shit and put it together in just a compilation, whether it's several, 100-page books or whatever it is. You need, and I want mine leather bound, right?
Okay.
I want a fucking leather bound Dino's, just out of Dino's brain, right? I want that as like a coffee table, coffee table book, big. Okay. And I think people will buy those things. Like, there is it's lost fucking knowledge, right?
Yeah, it's it came in from like when I got out of high school, so I could draw all through there. But in high school, I started with drafting and had some kinfolks that was architects, so I always had the T-squares and the triangles, and they taught me how to make the angles. And then I went to college, and at that time, computer-aided drafting was just coming in, and so I didn't really. This is the crazy thing. I didn't think computers were going to catch on because they were so ugly and big and bulky, and you had this Like, no joke. You had this little monitor, it was green, about this big. And I'm
Yep.
like, that thing ain't
Looked
never
like a
gonna catch up.
oscilloscope.
Right. And I was like, dude, when they make it where you can get it in your hand, I'll mess with it. Well, we're here.
Yeah.
We are here. And so I would always, you were talking about the book, you know, and all these different things, the compilation. I called them noggin drawings. I
like it.
I would write noggin drawings on the bottom because it's just this storm of ideas and information that just they come so fast. And I've only heard one other person describe what it's like, and that's Elon Musk. When he was talking, I think it was Joe Rogan maybe or somebody, he was talking, and they said, oh, it must be nice. And he just he goes, it's like a curse because it never stops. I keep sketch pads in my room by my bed, and I always have 5 or 6 canvases out and several Bristol boards because they'll come so fast. I have to do them real quick, and they're kind of ugly. But once you get the image onto the canvas, then your mind can recall the total image. So all I need, sometimes it looks like gibberish, but I know what it is. It's almost like a hieroglyph, and it just comes so freaking fast.
Looks like Salvador Dali to me.
Yeah, I've heard that. There's been some few, you know, that one on Artwork by Dino. I think we named it Vegas Dreaming, and that was a dream of a guy coming. It was right around COVID, which it's kind of interesting because when you look at the image, I don't know, I wouldn't say prophecy or whatever, maybe a foreshadowing. There was a lot of trippy stuff that came out in there, and it was all about a human face, but it was done in abstract. And then there was this bug that, you know, almost took over the world. And there's a picture of an airplane, and it's flying toward the east, and it's really tripping. You know, y'all can go look at it. And I've got a website, artworkbydino.com, or you can go to Facebook for Artwork by Dino and look at it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. They just come so fast, man.
You will never see all the pictures inside that thing. They will never find everything inside.
They will never find anything. Most of the artwork that I do, I have people right now that I drew things for 40 years ago, and they'll come up and go, "Hey, man, you know, so and so over there. I just realized there's so and so." And I'm
That's
like,
a naked lady in there.
those heels are a naked lady or whatever, you know, or there's a turtle. The whole thing is really a turtle. And I'm like, yeah.
Does it start that way? Do you intend to put that there when you start that artwork?
No, it just flows.
It just happens.
It flows.
Do you realize it happens?
Not really, because if you try to realize it, it'll stop. So you just let it go. You just let it do it. I tell people, they go, "Man, where'd you come up with this?" And I go, "It just came out of the pencil."
I asked you the day before yesterday, I think, maybe yesterday. I said, "So your artwork's doing really well. When are you going to be at a point where you can stop surveying?" And you said, "I can stop now. I want to survey because it takes me to so many different places."
I love it.
You were always you sent me a photo. You sent me some pictures. You were surveying an old, I don't know if it was an estate or mansion or what it was, in the middle of nowhere. There was a surgical studio in the basement.
Yeah, it was cool.
You're always sending me crazy shit like that.
It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know how you like to go in those old abandoned buildings and stuff? Yeah, man, this is what this is. I was out in the middle of nowhere, John. I'm talking nowhere in rural Louisiana. Me and the guy I work with. And we're going along, and there's this saw blade, and it's this big around. It's huge. Well, the guy I work with, he goes, "Oh, look at this." And he shows me, and I was like, "Hey, Barb, I need that." And he goes, "You gonna paint on it?" And I was like, "Yeah," but I couldn't tote it. And he goes, "I'll tote it for you." So this dude toted this saw blade out of the woods, maybe up, I don't know, half a mile or so. And you know, I toted the equipment. And so you find some really cool stuff. A lot of springs, a lot of natural things, topo. That's what I like to do. I like to draw maps. I'm a geek. I like to do mapping, cartography, stuff like that, and I do that myself.
You seen Bigfoot?
I don't know what I saw. To tell you the truth, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it was. It may have been a bear, but it was standing on its hind legs. I got a picture. I'll send it to you. I'll actually put it on Survival Tips and other stuff. It's on the photos if you look, and I think I circled it in red, and we didn't know. And I didn't know at that time I was even taking that, you know, because I thought it was further down the road, so I stopped. And I was like, what was it? And the guy with me, he goes, I don't know. And so I just, was looking, took a picture, and then we crept up there. We never did see it, but by that tree, you could, I don't know. You look at it. See?
From my perspective, I feel like you spend a lot of time out in the woods.
Very much.
You seen anything else weird?
Yeah.
Can we talk about it?
Well, yeah, I guess so. There's some. I've run across some weird looks like ceremonial spots.
I'll
we'll
bet.
put some really creepy things, some stuff scattered out in different arrangements, and I don't walk in them. I just go around them.
Yeah,
gives me the heebie-jeebies, makes my hair stand up on the back of my neck, and I won't mess with them. Bones and stuff. You find stuff. The guy I work with, he found a body one time. He was going along and found a body, bones. Anyway, you had to call it in, and they'd come out there and rope it off and do all that stuff.
so I feel like we could drop you literally in the middle of fucking nowhere, come back in a year, and you'd have like a town built.
Yeah, we can do it. I just need a rock and a way to break one.
And that's what you would start with, is a rock and a way to break one? Because you're going to make what, a knife or an axe or what?
Something to cut with.
Yeah, I listened to you on Jack, and you said a lot of stuff on there. That show needed to go a few hours longer.
I know, man. Jack is such a cool guy, man. We were talking, before it's on that recorded part or whatever, and he had a lot of the same stuff. He just didn't have the, the screwed up violent part of it as my childhood. So, or he said it. So,
yeah, he came from a coal mine. Grandparents raised him a lot. Yeah,
right.
Coal mine town. So, when are you going to have this book ready to go?
I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to take the spirals in the other books, I guess, and just put them together. I had a guy talk to me. I told you about that one from New York, the guy that wanted to do the story and stuff on me, and it kind of fell through. We had a lot of stuff going on, and my dad was, dying of cancer and stuff, so I just kind of and my son, getting killed. So I really just haven't got back with him on that. There's a lot of opportunities that my regular life and things that, I think are more important, which is my family, that I need to tend to other than going and do that.
Yeah.
So we get somebody to, hook it up, and all those drawings, because there's a lot of things. I tried, what I was doing was I was trying to make a illustrated book for my grandkids. The way we think of is 7 generations ahead. We think 7 generations ahead of where, you want your family to be, generational wealth and stuff, and knowledge. And what I see is someone, the greater be or whatever, that they're trying to squish that. They're trying to squish the old ways of, we don't really need you. You know what I'm saying? We can do this. Yeah. All we need you to do is build roads and fight wars.
Yes, push everybody to the coast. We're going to own all these center parts of the United States for our playground, and we're going to lower the population. That's how I feel. That's what they want. Have you met the lady walking around here in the black trench coat with the purple hat on? Older lady?
I think she was sitting at the table with us talking to Barry yesterday.
I think that's
something in Georgia. Has some kind of thing in Georgia.
Yeah, that's who I'm talking about.
Okay.
I feel like you should have a conversation with her.
We talked yesterday, and I was giving Bear my testimony, and I didn't realize that many people. By the time I got to
there's 100 people sitting there now.
I didn't know that they had all just gathered up around us. And Bear's a really cool guy, and I'm really just talking to Bear.
Mm-hmm.
I think. And then this, the lady was chimed in on her stuff, and I'm not really sure what she was talking about, some chromosomes or something. I don't know. It's about being in touch with your feelings. But when you spend that much time alone, dude, I'm telling people, survival, everybody likes the bushcraft and the fun stuff and the camping and all that. What happens when the fight is in your bed? What happens when the fight's in ICU, where I laid there for 14 days going in, out, literally telling myself to breathe in and out because I had to get off the vent. I could hear them talking. They were taking bets. I heard people taking bets on when I would die. And I was like, bullshit, you watch this.
So you wanted to prove him wrong.
Yep.
Did you tell him?
Nope.
Did you ever tell him?
Nope. They know now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was that's really the way it was. It was in and out, in and out. And so that battle within inside your head, that's a real survival. And I think a lot of people got a glimpse of that with all this COVID stuff, and they were stuck in their house. Because it's easy to fake being who you think you are around other people. But you can't fake who you are with you. Because you know you. And you're in there. And you're not going to put up with you can't fake yourself.
So how would you make people stronger?
In what sense?
Just all of that, being able to be a more real person, be prepared for a situation that they're not prepared for. What would you go back for your circumstance? What would you do?
I would say you need to be honest with yourself. You need to be honest with yourself. Okay, I think I can do this. And then you do it, and then it messes you up and hurts you. No, you need to analyze that. I can't pick up X amount of pounds. This weighs so and so. If I pick that up, I'm fixing to rip all this stuff out. The mesh is gone. The abdomen's open. You're back to square one, being eaten by MRSA, pumped full of antibiotics in a hospital. And that's no way to live, man. So you need to be honest with yourself, and you need to have a good grasp and a good mental health. And you need to not be afraid to talk to somebody about that. And if you're worried about someone talking and telling your story or whatever, you go get a trained professional that's under, guidelines that they can't tell anyone unless you're a threat to yourself or others, or, that kind of thing. They'll tell you, if you say, well, I think I'm going to go do whatever, and it's going to harm people, they got to tell. That's just by the law. But you need to get somebody that has the tools, knows what the name of those tools are, and how to give it to you and explain it to you in a way that you learn and know how to use the tools. And then you use those tools and you make yourself better. It's all about self-evaluation. You have to be able to self-evaluate. Is this action going to hurt me in the long run? And it's accountability. That's one of the things you talk about. Accountability, accountable to yourself. Because when you're lying to yourself, you're not making yourself better at all. At all. You're just living in a fantasy world, a delusion. So you be honest with yourself and be open, to help from others. You're going out there and a lot of, guys coming back and they got PTSD. I do that. I talk to those guys because I've been there. I know what they were going through when they were coming back from over there. Then they were finding themselves, oh my God, why am I doing this? Why do I do this? Why am I drinking so much? Why am I, yelling at my kids and my wife? Because I know what that is. It's frustration. You used to be this pipe hitter, and now you're injured, and now you're powerless. That's you trying to be in charge of your own destiny. Well, you have to give it up and let him do it, and just go where he leads you. Because he will show you the path. He will put people on a social media app if that's what you need. But you need to be open enough to be able to recognize that is your tool is being sent to you. This person with this tool is being sent to you to tell you something that you need to hear. May not be the greatest thing. You may not want to hear it, but you recognize the truth. Be able to discern truth from fiction. Was it? We were talking about that. Me and Barry was talking about that self-deprecating, talk. When you talk bad about yourself, that will manifest itself into a bad deal.
Yeah, you'll think it right into existence.
That's exactly right. Yeah, manifestation. Yep, that's it. And guys, like me, I tried to go too fast. Because I was not, that 19, 20-year-old, I couldn't work out like that anymore. All that was gone, So I had to have a whole nother way to do it. And then I will watch some stuff, and you were talking about the bands and Pat Mack with his bands. And so I was like, oh, that's it. And then the physical therapy people, they gave me some, so I started doing those. And not being able to walk, you can still get your heart rate up with your arms. You know, it's just movement. You need to move. You need to clean the blood out and filter the toxins. Because when you get sedentary, what does sedentary water do?
Goes stale.
It's stagnant. And that's no good. A moving stream's always good and clear. So you got to keep that river inside of you, that blood moving. Get that filters, get them filters going. It's a hard road, man. It really was. But like I told somebody the other day, it was a blessing getting shot. That was a blessing in disguise. Because I would not be as far ahead now, I think, up here, if that wouldn't have happened. It's opened me up. I'm not scared to witness to anybody now for him. I'm not. It doesn't bother me. You want to ridicule, whatever, that's fine. It's okay. But the seed was planted, and that's what it's all about. It's get out of self. That's one of the things I would say to somebody.
Get out of self.
Get out of self. Serve others. When you serve others, the rest of it will come. Like what you're doing here with all these people, and helping them gain information and networking. It's all part of it, man. I really do think, that, there's a purpose. I told you that a long time ago, didn't I?
You did.
I did. I said, man, there's something. God's finna use you. And I just seen 400 or 500 people, and and everybody's fellowshipping. I could see it. There was something about you. I mean, it just stuck out, pop, like that, man, and it stopped. Yep, stopped it.
So what's next?
I'll just continue on, and the book, the artwork. Those things going on, and the surveying. I like that because I walk. I walk a lot. I don't like to use the buggy or whatever. If we're going, 5 miles deep or something, go in there. But then,
I feel like you get new employees and they're like, fuck this.
Oh, a lot of them can't. Younger people really
That's
can't.
what I'm talking about.
They're not going to do it.
I look at that and I'm like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, they don't want to do it. It's got to be something you like. I mean, I like to be outside in the woods, and I get to see all kind of weird animals and snakes, and video them, and weird ants.
He's super scared of snakes.
Are you? Yeah. It'd be all right.
You just need a snake tattoo.
That's right. You just need a snake tattoo.
So are you working on any artwork right now? Well, I know you are, I'm sure, but you have some customer stuff you're working on right now?
Mm-hmm.
Are you fully booked up? Can you take more work?
Oh, I can take some.
Can you do anything?
Like what?
Like if somebody's like, I want you to paint anything.
I can do anything.
Literally, I feel like you can.
You tell me an idea you want to come to life, and we'll do it.
If I said, hey, draw Brandle's face, how long would it take you to do that?
No. What are you talking about? Like just a sketch, or
just a sketch?
Just a sketch.
And I say that having no fucking idea what's involved in the sketch.
About probably 15, 20 minutes, maybe.
Holy shit!
But like if you want every hair and every freckle and all that, that'll take a little longer.
Have you seen those pictures? I watch stuff like I see it on Instagram where it looks like there's a damn black and white snake sitting, but it's really a piece of paper. They draw it all three-dimensional and shit. And you're like, oh, there's an apple, but you can't grab it.
Right, you got to look at those at a certain angle.
Yeah, fucking wild. If you move
the paper, it doesn't even look like it.
Wild.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Any medium you don't work in?
No, I'll try anything. I mean, it's just...
And you can build anything, and you can fabricate anything.
Pretty much.
I believe that. I believe that 100%.
Pretty much.
Well, man, I just wanted to sit down for a minute. I didn't know any of that stuff last night. I wish I'd just had a recorder running last night, and I just had to listen, and I wanted to just get a minute to sit down and talk. And if people wanted to get in touch with you, how would they do that? Are you
through the Facebook, the Artwork by Dino.
Artwork by Dino.
Artwork by Dino.
Is there an Instagram?
Yeah, it has. My tech guy hooked me up with got them all linked now and all that
fancy.
stuff.
You got a tech guy.
Yeah,
did you ever think you'd have a fucking
I
tech
did
guy?
not. No, I did not. I never thought. He's a good, and he's a great musician. He's a young guy, and man, he can just, and he's a good musician. And
What kind of music does he do?
He does country music and sings, and there's a video of him. He came over. He was one of my son's friends that passed away, and he came over after his funeral, and he got his guitar out, and he just sat on the tailgate.
I know. I know.
And played this song, man, and
I heard it.
I was just like, wow. You know, it was cool. It really was.
Are all tech guys musicians?
I feel like it.
What kind of music you think he does?
Classical. I don't know, speed metal. What?
White rapper.
Isn't he?
No.
Oh, what is it? Come on, Brandon.
Punk rock.
Punk rock.
Hey.
Hey,
He's like David Hasselhoff. He's very big in Germany.
I am huge in Germany.
hey, that's cool with me. I like all types of music.
Yeah.
I do. I
Yeah.
like all types of music.
And then you have another Instagram and Facebook page.
Oh, the survival tips.
And what's it called?
Other stuff. Survival tips and other stuff.
And it is like, you guys should check it out. It's wild. Just subscribe to it. Just scroll through there. You scroll through a few posts, you're going to scroll through a lot of them.
The in the YouTube, I have a channel of survival tips and other stuff on YouTube. I haven't put a lot of stuff on there because as I'm moving and doing things, it's easier just to put it up on Facebook or whatever, and a little bit of stuff. And so we're going to do more with the YouTube. We're going to start making more videos. And
so anything you put on Instagram can go on YouTube. You can put it under shorts. Isn't there stories there now? Like, you can do short form content over there now. So at least it's populating. So anybody subscribed, they find your stuff. They're like, hey, where's more? It'll be there that way without having to edit and do videos and stuff.
Okay. That's a lot better. The editing and stuff, that was kind of my deal. But my tech guy, we're getting into that. So
yeah,
we're rolling along. We got the artwork by Dino.com or www.artworkbydino.com.
Yep.
And he got all that running up, and we're doing prints and stuff. The buffalo, that one came. I had a dream about that one. That's a white buffalo, actually, with the sunset, the purple sunset bouncing off of him. And that's what I seen. I got up the next morning and did what we was talking about, and it came out, and that one's been really popular. And we're putting it on, starting to put it on leather handbags, and they look really cool, man.
And will they do that DT like direct to garment, or you painting those, or how do they get?
No, it's on there, direct to garment thing. I'm not painting it on there. It would take way too long for me to paint it.
Right.
On each individual bag. So
yeah, I was amazed how good
really,
those looked. Yeah.
Yeah, the detail is there, and that's one of the things about my stuff is like I go into details, and even with magnifying glass, and each piece of artwork there's actually more in there, like we were talking about. You can look at it. And I'd put something on, maybe it was the back page or something, and a couple of weeks later there was people commenting going, "There's so and so, there's a so and so, and there's so and so." I've been looking 3 hours and it's still,
Yeah. Well, man, thank you for sitting down. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you guys want to see all the stuff we're talking about, you now know where to find it. And he'll talk to you if you reach out to him. Like you will hear back from Dino.
That's right.
So
I'll talk to you.
Check him out, get in touch with him, and buy something from him.
Right on.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, man, I'm talking about realest, one of the realest to try.